All right, so welcome back. This next video, we're just going to continue where we left off. So in the last part of this, you should have created your own example of a list, okay, on slide 9. Again, this was the one that I created. To do that, we just had to copy and paste or make a duplicate. So let's go to slide 12. Let's start using the different commands and see what things are going to look like, because we're not always going to be using these plastic baggies. All right, so this is what we're dealing with right here. This is your command. So the variable is my list. That's the name of your list. All right, notice it's written the same way with the camelback type. Equals, and then what you have is square brackets. Anything that is a word or letters is going to be in quotation marks. Anything that's a number is not. Each of your values are separated by commas, and you're using those square brackets. All right, so that's how you're going to write these. So now let's practice with that. So that's what you're doing on each screen. So on the next screen, it's fighting with me here. Write out the command for this list. Okay, so go ahead and do that. So the first thing, remember, and you can insert just a text box here. You're probably better at this than I am. You use it a lot more than I do. All right, so the variable, or var, oops, we don't want that capitalized. All right, and then the name of your list, this is functions, equals. All right, now a list is going to have those square brackets. And then each word has to be in quotes. If it were a number for the element, not the index, then you would just put the number down. So I'm going to do quotes, linear, exactly as it's written, comma, quadratic. Oops. Comma, exponential. And that's the end of my list. All right, so this list would be written as this command. So let's just get some practice with that. So write out the command for this list. This is all numbers. So think about that. You're not going to have to put quotes around the numbers. So var, again, I don't want it capitalized. I just hit Control Z and it'll stop it. The name of the list, my, and then a capital M for numbers, no spaces, equals, and then you're going to have your square brackets, 10, comma, 20, comma, 25. Close brackets. A lot easier with numbers. All right, write out the command for this list. Go ahead and try that. If you're comfortable doing it on your own, that's fine. All right, so we'll add in a text box. Unless you want to write it on the paper, but I think it's easier just to type. var, I'm going to have to Control Z to get that out of there. And then the name of my list is Random Spring. For me, I just put random things that remind me of spring. So the first thing I have is green. That's a color, so I'm going to put that in quotes because it's a word. Comma 50, because 50s, it's getting warmer out. No quotes. And then mud, because there is mud everywhere. All right, pretty simple. Okay, on the next slide, 16, it says copy and paste your list from slide 9 here, and then you're going to write the command for your list in this box, like what we just did. So go back to 9. All right, now this I just started copying and pasting things, but I'm going to go to 8. Let's pretend you're on 9. So yours that you created was on 9. So if you want to copy and paste it, just click off to the side, just include those pieces, hit Control C. Then we'll go back down, paste. So that way you have it right in front of you. I don't need this guy anymore. So I'm going to delete him. Oops. Maybe you want to move these guys up. Okay. So then write the command for your, oops, I grabbed it all, but write the command for yours. Okay. Next, we'll get into some questions about how to read different values in your list. All right, so my list 1. All right, so this means that I'm going to access the value at that particular index in that list. So if I wanted to look at this list, if I was looking at lunch food 1, it would be pizza. Well, for this, it says, what do lunch food 0 and lunch food 2 access? So again, I'm going to either write on it or just grab yourself a text box. Lunch food 0 would be nachos. And, oops, lunch food 2 would be soup. Easy. All right. So this next part, lists and expressions. Replace the list access with a copy of the value it holds and then evaluate the expression as normal. So here's this list, my numbers. Each index is listed here, 0, 1, and 2, and here's the value. So this is saying to take 3 plus my numbers index 1, which would be 20. So I'm going to just take 3 plus 20, and that would give us 23. All right, so let's try that for the others. My number's 0, so that would be 10. My number's 2 would be 25. 10 plus 25 gives us 35. And that's it. Now with this, it's just a random number that's there. So you're just taking 100 plus my number's index 2, which is 25. Add those together and you get 125. That's it. All right, it's just we're not used to writing that way or reading things that way, so that's why it looks kind of strange. All right, so what I would like you to do is write 2 expressions that include the access for for the list above. So if you look back at this page, so here's an example, here's an example, here's an example. I want you to create 2 different examples that use, you could even do, we just stuck with 2 items. But what I want you to do is write this plus the access plus what it evaluates to. So it should look like this. You don't have to put these in there. You're welcome to if you'd like, but you don't have to. All right, so just create a couple of those for me, and I will make sure that you have some stickies that you can drag down and put there. All right, and then I believe we're going to stop there before we get into the next stuff. All right, if you have questions, don't forget to ask me. Have a great day.